Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Today we have a very special episode. We have the director from Cassanova Films, Joshua Thomas, with us, who has recently directed a Jubilee fan film, and he's here to tell us a little bit about that. Welcome, Josh. How are you doing today?
Yo, thank you for having me, Griffin, Edward. I really appreciate it. I'm doing great. It's a beautiful sunny day here in Long Beach.
No, thanks for being on here with us, man.
Yep, thank you for having me.
We saw your film. It's it's dope. I remember when Griff told me about it, he was like, "Hey, this guy hit us up. He wants us to check out his film. It's Xmen. It's Xmen 90s." I think that's how he sold it to me. He was like, he said if we were fans of the 90s X, I was like, "Hell yes, I am. Let's do it." And I saw it late that night because no, the next day because I was doing some work. But when I saw it, I told Griff, I was like, "Give me 5 minutes." I saw it. I told him, I said, "I loved it." It reminds me of my niece. I have a niece who looks like Jubilee. My brother's gonna kill me, but she does. Sorry.
Great.
A lot of people don't like Jubilee. I like Jubilee. She's the underdog. She's the youngest X-Men, and she's in a house full of superheroes. I think it's dope.
Yeah, so speaking of that, what made you choose Jubilee to be the center of this film?
Right. Well, you kind of said part of it. One, underdog. Two, I've been a fan since I was a kid and probably was a fan of her because I had a crush on her. That's what I'm guessing. Uh, but it's just always stuck with me. And then when we finally got live action X-Men and that first film where we meet Rogue, in my mind, in my heart, I knew that was supposed to be Jubilee.
I thought
And
so too.
yeah, so ever since then, I've just felt like, why haven't they done it? Like, why did she get, you know, shadowed like that? And I have my theories, but ultimately, I just told myself, like, if I could ever make a Jubilee film, and this was before I became a filmmaker, or an X-Men film, it would be a Jubilee film. So it was kind of like an easy decision for me to like, where can I start with this?
It
Nice.
was very impressive. It was very nice. And so, given that you are an independent filmmaker and starting up, what problems do you come across, especially with a smaller budget?
Whew, um, everything. I mean, like this project started out where it was just going to be like a little side project. Usually in December, I tried to do just like something for myself because it's around my birthday and I just kind of like to celebrate at the end of the year by making something that's 100% true to what I want to do and not because somebody paid me to do it. And I was going to do a Jubilee origin film, and it was supposed to basically just be like Jubilee, what you see, just like this little kind of alley situation. And I was literally just going to shoot it in like an alley by my house and keep it really small, like maybe like three people and, have to not pay for the location and stuff like that. But then when I started writing it and developing it, and I just started adding all of these little extra things. And my wife read the first draft of the script, and she was like, "Holy shit, this is not going to be that easy or cheap." So when she got involved, and then we started developing it more, it just like kind of snowballed. And so like back to like, what are some of the difficulties, like obviously funding it yourself, doing everything yourself, writing, producing, directing, shooting, editing, um, feeding the cast, all of those things. That's the biggest hurdle, we have when making these projects. And this one in particular was just time and resources. We did this project, we had 6 hours on the location, and we had no help. So that's with setup and breakdown. It ended up costing us an hour and a half to set up and then about 30 minutes to break down. So like that final scene, that the Sinister scene, is we shot that in like, I don't know, 10 minutes.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah. And so one of the other difficult things is I'm not a VFX artist. but since I just like to do everything myself, I had no like pretext of how to do it. I just thought like, okay, I'm just gonna do it like this and then figure it out in post. So I just wanted to, do my best practical in camera to make it easier for me in post. And surprising enough, like I'm really happy with how it came out, but I know like where I can kind of improve, moving forward for stuff like that. But that's one of the most difficult things is time and resources.
Yeah, it certainly is. I've had similar projects that were you make it all yourself, and it's time consuming, it costs a lot of money, but and then it's going to be worth it. And I hope you do feel that your film was worth it, because it is really impressive.
Yeah, so worth it. But like I said, we had 6 hours on the day, but I spent at least 200 hours editing it. So, you know, because you love it. And so all of those things that are difficult, kind of don't matter in comparison to like the reward of actually like seeing it, like I said, for me, watching the cartoon in the 90s, or even just, I'm sure you guys remember like the Jim Lee covers
Oh
from
yeah.
the Xmen,
I
like,
remember the flare cards. You guys remember the flare, the Jim Lee collectible flare cards?
oh yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I did those stand out. Remember they had an edition where they went to the beach. They were all like playing volleyball and stuff
Oh,
like that.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
I still
classic.
have some of those. Yeah, when I remember Joshua, when Griff told me, "Hey man, let's support this dude. Let's check it out." We've been talking about X-Men for about a year now, about, when are they coming to the MCU? How are they going to bring it? What are they going to do? Are they going to go the original X-Men, which is, Iceman, Angel, Beast, Cyclops, or are they going to go uncanny on us? If they go uncanny and they don't bring in Jubilee, I'm going to cry at this point.
Oh man,
Just
yeah. I'm gonna have a drink to that, because that would be a complete travesty after what's happened already with the Fox franchise, where it's almost like a joke.
yeah,
Yeah.
100%. And Kevin Feige, he talks about, diversity and stuff like that. There, Griff and I have mentioned this with another friend of ours. There is no more diverse superhero team than the X-Men. You have African Americans, you have Jewish people, you have Canadians, they're from, Cajuns. Rogue is from the South. They're from all over the place. So
Nightcrawler.
Yeah.
and yeah, Nightcrawler, and then that's another thing that you touch upon. So Nightcrawler, not only is he German, he's from across the world, but he's Catholic.
Yeah, and he's a circus freak.
There you go.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that Nightcrawler's Catholic, because not for theological reasons or anything, but because he looks like a demon. He looks like the opposite of what should, believe in God.
Right. And that's actually kind of what the whole X-Men idea is about, is, like being okay with being different,
Exactly.
or being accepted for being different.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
that's a really good way to
100%. I
talk
think
about it.
anybody that feels as an outcast, or, that has ever felt like they're not wanted somewhere, I think those people are fans of the X-Men. And if they don't know the X-Men, once they get to know the X-Men, they're gonna become huge fans. And we had a conversation, Griff and I, well, we had off and on conversations about, and I want to ask you, who would you want as Magneto and Professor Xavier for the MCU?
Me and my wife were just talking about, like, because I had an idea. I was like, oh man, if I introduce Xavier at any point, how could I do something unique? And I thought that, like, if it were a woman, and if it were, somebody that's like Xavier was just a brain, and
Okay.
because he's, the super telepath, that he was basically communicating through like his brain through this woman who's the leader. And I don't know who that is. I didn't really have like that specifically casted, but just like the idea that it doesn't have to be this guy in the wheelchair with the bald head type of
Right.
thing, but like, what if, we tried something something different. And I don't know what that is yet.
I like your idea.
The kid in me wants to see the Magneto that looks like the buff one with the braided hair coming out the sides
I
of his
still want to
helmet.
see that too. So, we went into what we want from the MCU, but I have to ask, and again, I really enjoyed your film. What are you have coming up next, or what are you hoping to dive into?
Oh, well, I'm glad you asked. So next, we're launching a Kickstarter for the next one. So back to the the challenges is time and resources, and of course that usually involves money. So we're launching a Kickstarter for the Sinister saga,
Oh, nice.
which will hopefully be a series of shorts, similar length, about 5 minutes, because we want to make it watchable, bingeable. It doesn't take too much of your time and is hopefully entertaining all the way through. So that's what I want to do next and continue with the same thing. I mean, it still continues from where we left off. Jubilee, obviously, this was her origin story. So we're going to see more of her come into who she really is as a leader.
Okay, cool. You mentioned Sinister, a Sinister arc. At any point, are we going to see Cyclops or Jean?
Oh, shoot. I think my wife probably here in the other room. I said, watch, they're going to say, when do we see Cyclops and Jean Grey? Yes, 100% they're in it. It's a big role, and
Nice.
it's not the Cyclops and Jean Grey that you are going to expect.
Okay,
Looking.
that actually makes me more intrigued. Okay, cool.
Is the Kickstarter open right now?
It is not. We're just taking emails. We're launching the Kickstarter in March. Right now, we're working on the pre-launch and just getting all of those things together. It's a lot more work than we thought it was going to be, and then getting the necessary people involved. Like we're getting artwork from some notable artists like Ollie Garza, who I'm actually related to. So we'll come back to that later. Yeah, so we're doing the Kickstarter for the Sinister Saga, launching in March, and hopefully we can start immediately after that in production. We already have a couple just roughs of what we're going to do and some of what you can expect. Like I said, the underdogs are really important to me. Is some characters from New Warriors.
Okay.
Nice. Okay, cool. Very X-Men oriented. At any point, do you think you might spin off into, I don't know, we might see you do some DC stuff or
I don't know, honestly, because this has just been so consuming, and kind of back to like the why Jubilee, literally since the inception of this thing, and I started talking about it, and then I started casting it. Like I said, it snowballed, and it wasn't supposed to be as big as it was until I started putting word out, and then I had actors literally hitting me up like, yo, I need to be in this, like what can I do? And since then it's just been like a little overwhelming, so now I have almost too many characters, too many ideas. I'm just like, oh my gosh, there's too much now. And so I don't know that I will jump ship at any point. I'll be honest, like a writer friend said, please let me know when you're ready for a Batman one. But I just, again, like,
that would be
I'm
dope.
such a fan of people like Bat in the Sun, of what they've done with certain characters that.
I was just gonna say, you guys, there's a lot of fan films out there,
Yeah.
and we're not being paid to say this, honest to God. But your film was really, really good, and there's a lot of them out there that are really, really bad. So it's one or the other. It's either really, really good or it's really, really bad. Yours was really, really good. It's short, but it gets right to the point.
I think one thing that really helped with that was the makeup and special effects were really impressive.
I think you guys could be the next Bat in the Sun. I'm a huge Bat in the Sun fan as well, but I think you guys could have the potential to give them a run for their money.
Thank you. That's just it. Is there is a lot in, and I didn't want to be in the other category, of course. And like, I want to do the best that I can with what I have to work with, and kind of stay true to what I'm a fan of, not try to, compete at all with anything that's out there. And again, like I'm such a fan of like the Gambit fan film and the Batman stuff that Bat in the Sun is. I mean, everything they do is just phenomenal. But yeah, it's just so scary, because I'm like, I love this so much. I don't want, and I love that so much. I don't want to like blend the two, but it would be
Right.
fun. Of course, if there's an opportunity, absolutely. But I'm more of like a X-Men fan, so like I know more about it. Mo Most of this stuff, like I don't have to research. It's been there since I was a kid, and I'm just like boom boom, and it works out. So I feel like if I was gonna approach anything from the DC universe, I'd have to do my research because I wouldn't want to disappoint people, especially people that are true fans, and we want to give people what they want, and I'd be afraid to ruin that.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah,
that's
that
fair.
makes
But
sense.
you chose a great genre with X-Men. I don't think any character in there is bad, and I really like the characters you introduced of Jubilee, Wolverine, Sinister. And then at the end, what made you choose Pyro at the end?
Okay, so the pyro thing, like obviously, like we get introduced to him a little bit in the film, and he's an actor that I've worked with before. He's also local to me here in Long Beach. Super great guy. He also provided the motorcycle for Wolverine,
Okay.
and it was just like, like I said, it just snowballed, and I had so many people that I care about, being a part of what I'm doing. That, like, how can we make it go further? And then I was like, oh my gosh, he could be Pyro because he has the look, and it would give me a different element to work with. And again, that it just kind of came like last minute, and I was just like, oh, all right, this is what it has to be. And then I had ideas about where that moves forward. And there's another Easter egg in there a lot of people probably didn't get, but like I said, the New Warriors, I'm going to make my own version of what the New Warriors is, and one of those characters is Bengal.
Okay.
And so the guy that actually stabs Wolverine is
Yeah.
Bengal.
Okay, that's really cool.
Yeah, he has no superpower, but so that's why I didn't kill him in that scene. And a lot of those things shifted on the, like the way that we did the whole stabbing thing, like that wasn't scripted. The way that I wrote it was different, but on the day, Nestor, the guy that plays Mr. Sinister and was doing the stunt, he's like, oh, what if we did this? What if he stabbed him and lifted him up? And it was really cool, but it was a lot more difficult to do. So
Hmm.
it was like a lot of really having to think on our feet quick to adjust to like this new way of shooting this scene. Yeah, that's one of the things is like I didn't want to close the book. I was like, I did this with the intention, like if we were to be able to do another one, like how can we expand on these people, and they have such big personalities and characters to work with. They happen to like fit these character roles so well that I was like, we have to expand on this. And so yeah, the pyro thing, again, like, just these characters I remember, like
Hmm.
the suit, and the way that I could do that practically, like him building his own suit, like, like a Peter Parker would, just something. The first version will probably be ugly and clunky and not well functional. I mean, all of these people, or most of them, are just figuring out this as we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's really cool, like thinking about all these Easter eggs and all these introductions early on to build this sort of connected storyline. And I know I'm personally really excited to see it.
I am too. I did not expect for Wolverine to stab anyone. That I did not expect. But it was cool because it wasn't done cheesy. It's something that Wolverine outside of the animated series would do. Wolverine would go right up to someone and stab him and just go on about his day. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, script was
And
great.
the chick that you guys got to play Jubilee, she sold me on her being Jubilee. I as soon as I saw it, I was like, yep, okay, I buy it.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. And that was a big thing too, is casting. And I'll be honest, like at first I had somebody say yes, then they ghosted me, and then a few more no replies, and then somebody was interested, but then they were like, how much does it pay? And of course, we want to take care of everybody, but my big thing from the jump was I really wanted to find somebody that was passionate about playing this character for a long-term situation.
Hmm.
So not just like,
Nice. Okay.
just because you look cute and can act well, take this role just because it's a thing. But I wanted somebody who's like, yeah, that's what I want to do.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so God willing, this blows up, man, and those people that ghosted you or that were like, now how much does it pay? A lot of people think that, like, hey, okay, but how much does it pay? But they don't think of the exposure that they're gonna get out of something like this.
Yeah,
This video goes viral. That one person that's playing Jubilee and is gonna continue to play Jubilee for you is gonna grow with the character and go on different adventures. Her exposure is just gonna, expand.
yeah. To add to that, like the merchandise that we already have made with her face, I don't know if you guys seen the cheap design. Let me grab one real quick.
I didn't even
No, I
realize you guys
didn't.
had that.
That's even cooler.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have these
That's
chibi
Oh,
dope.
nice.
Jubilee stickers. So based off of our Jubilee, we going to conventions, passing out flyers, promoting it with her face, and I think her seeing it for the first time when we were printing out stuff and posting about it. She was like, "That's my face." Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. That's
Yeah,
that's
that's
really
that's
cool.
amazing.
Next time we see her, I have to ask, are we gonna get the trench coat?
oh man. So here's the whole thing with the design is we are trying to stay true to like a 90s type of look, but kind of modernize it and
Yeah.
keep everything grounded and cool. So I don't know, like maybe I'll do it like as a joke, like
Okay.
a raincoat or something.
There you go. Because in one of the X-Men movies, I can't remember which one it is, they do show Jubilee, and she's wearing a yellow. I think it's Apocalypse.
It's Apocalypse. It's in a deleted scene. Yeah.
It's a yellow jacket, and I was like, that looks okay. That actually looks better than the trench coat.
Yeah. So I do like that. I like her signature jacket is like a yellow leather jacket or something. I thought it would be cool if it were like a yellow puffer vest,
Okay.
Oh yeah. Okay.
something like that. Just like I said, something more modern that would be
There you
like,
go.
oh, sporty also. So that's kind of the look I went with, was like I wanted to have like a sporty look, whereas her 90s look with the trench coat and the kind of like denim long shorts type thing, it doesn't seem functional.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
No, you're absolutely right.
that does make sense.
Yeah, so I just wanted to look like young and exciting and active, and so that's kind of what I was thinking, like maybe like a yellow puffer. The yellow leather jacket would be dope, like if there was a moment where like she was shopping and was drawn to that, because obviously we can't have her in the same wardrobe that we had for the first one, because it's not a costume.
Hmm.
Right.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Joshua. This was a lot of fun. And if you're interested in seeing his fan film, there's going to be a link in the description. We really encourage you to check it out. He's a really talented director, and the film's great.
I had a lot of fun, Joshua. Thank you so much for coming on here. Thank you for thinking of us. We're still a relatively small channel, but when Griff told me, I almost was like, really? But that's amazing, man. Thank you so much. You're very talented, dude. I really, really enjoyed it. Again, we're not getting a dime for saying that. I'm saying it because it's true. I can't wait to see more of your stuff. Let us know when
Well, so when the
something else is
Kickstarter
coming up.
starts,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna support that.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. And again, I would love to keep you guys involved. This is very new, but we're super passionate about it, and we're not stopping because we love it. I know that there's a lot of other people out there that are gonna love it, and we want to share that. You know, this is an important thing for us to do. It's fun. We get to do whatever we want without the restraints of Hollywood expectations.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Well, we're gonna promote the heck out of it, man, because we both love it. We're very passionate about X-Men. We can't wait to see more. Now that you told us that this actress is gonna continue to play your Jubilee and she's gonna grow and go off on different adventures, and I'm very excited for what's coming with Sinister. Yeah,
Like the
please
whole
keep us
saga.
updated. That's pretty
It's
dope.
amazing. Yeah, go check out Cassanova Films on YouTube. They're doing great stuff, and we'll see you guys next time.
All right, thanks a lot.
Take care, guys.